Tonight on News 5 Live, GOB defends offshore sector. Belize tweets its support for Taiwan. Anthropologist says states of emergency don't work. And Citco thinks about building a beach for Belize City. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Imagine going through your entire day without the burden and risk of carrying cash on you. Belize's shift to digital wallets has begun with eCash. We can now skip the cash when collecting money or paying for our essentials, all while using a fast, easy, and secure platform. Simply add funds to your wallet via bank transfer or at an agent, and you're good to go. You will be able to make quick, easy payments simply by scanning QR codes. And best of all, it all happens just like that. Payments are as easy as clicking a link online or scanning a QR code. Download the eCash app from the Google Play and Apple App Store today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. The future is here with eCash. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257 to find out more.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, October 8th. I am Sabrina Daly. The publication of several international articles by a consortium of global journalists using information gleaned from thousands of documents termed the Pandora Papers has placed a spotlight on Belize's offshore banking sector, as well as international financial services. The naming of one Belizean firm and the overall reports has prompted the government of Belize to issue a release clarifying several points, including the establishment of the sector over 30 years ago. GOB says that not only is the industry legitimate and viable, it represents an annual contribution of $50 million to Belize's gross domestic product. According to the statement issued by GOB earlier today, the reports published by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists gives the impression and allege that there is illegality taking place within the industry among practitioners. The Briceño administration reiterates that it does not countenance and will not permit the use of the industry to engage in money laundering, terrorism financing, and corruption, among other forms of criminal and unlawful activities. A 7-year prison sentence has been handed down by U.S. District Judge Catherine Polk-Faya in the case against Brent Borland, the owner of a New York-based investment fund. Borland was convicted of orchestrating a scheme that was perpetrated through Belize Infrastructure Fund between 2014 and March 2018, during which they solicited and received large funds from 40 investors. Borland, a 51-year-old resident of West Palm Beach, Florida, claimed the monies would be used to construct an airport in Placencia and promised high rates of return. He also said the investments would be fully secured by real property in Belize that was free of any liens or obligations. Instead, Borland misappropriated the funds for his own personal benefit, diverting significant amounts of money to cover his personal expenses, including mortgage payments, credit card bills, luxury cars, a beach club membership, and private school tuition for his children. On Tuesday, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Audrey Strauss, announced that Borland was sentenced in a Manhattan federal court to 84 months in prison after pleading guilty in February 2019 to conspiring to commit and committing securities and wire fraud. In addition to his prison term, Borland was sentenced to 3 years of supervised release and ordered to pay forfeiture of $26.5 million and $26.1 million in restitution to those he defrauded. Reports emerged this morning that a plane had made an illegal landing near Little Belize in the Orange Walk district. However, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams and the Police Communications Director ASP Fitzroy Yearwood both told the media throughout the course of the day that because law enforcement teams were still at the site of the illegal aircraft activities, they were unable to disclose details at this time. Taiwan has thanked the Belize government for publicly supporting its tensions grow with mainland China. In a brief message to News 5 today, the Taiwanese embassy wrote, quote, "The embassy would like to thank the government of Belize for its staunch support to Taiwan. As a trustworthy and faithful ally, Taiwan will continue to work with Belize to preserve peace and stability around the world," unquote. The gratitude comes after Belize's Ministry of Foreign Affairs sent a tweet today calling on the international community to ensure peace and security in the Taiwan Strait and Indo-Pacific region. The MFA says Belize stands in solidarity with Taiwan. Coming up, do state of emergencies work to curb crime? A social anthropologist gives his views when we come back.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "As for me, I will see your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake in your likeness." The greatest thing about you is not what you have been, what you are, but what you're going to be. In Genesis 1:26, God said, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." So God created man in his own image. God gave you a visible body that you could reveal the invisible God in all of his likeness. It is obvious to me that most people are not there yet, but the good news is that God has not given up on you. The Apostle Paul said, "He which hath begun a good work in you will perform it unto the day of Jesus Christ." The Apostle John makes it even more clear when he says, "Behold what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. It doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself even as he is pure." Our children in the church say it best, "He's still working on me to make me what I need to be." It took him just a week to make the moon and the stars, the sun and the earth, and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be, 'cause he's still working on me. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Why should we get a COVID-19 vaccine? First, to protect our health. Vaccines are safe and effective at preventing severe disease and death from COVID-19. Also, the impact of vaccines on the transmission of the virus is being studied. Meanwhile, we already have powerful reasons to get vaccinated for our own good and for the good of others. Second, we should get vaccinated for our community's health. Our health systems are overwhelmed treating COVID-19 cases. By getting vaccinated, fewer of us will need medical care or hospitalizations from this disease. This promotes the health of our communities by allowing other healthcare issues that are being postponed to be addressed, such as care for chronic diseases. Third, we should get vaccinated for our community's well-being. COVID-19 has also caused poverty and unemployment and has generated an economic and social crisis. Vaccines will allow us to reactivate our economies gradually and to go back to the social interactions that we miss so much. The more people are vaccinated, the sooner we will be able to safely carry out the activities we had to drastically limit and that are key to the well-being of our communities. Some achievements will only be possible if we all cooperate. Health emergencies test our ability to help one another and act for the health and well-being of our communities. We all have the moral duty to get vaccinated against COVID-19 as soon as it is available to us and to follow public health measures to end the pandemic soon. The fight against COVID-19 depends on everyone.
No more stress, no more long lines, no more confusion, no more long, complicated forms. That's because the Belize Tax Services Department is going digital. The launch of Iris Belize will bring ease and efficiency to our tax management. Iris Belize has a user-friendly online portal that allows you to file your returns and make payments online, view your full account history, access customer service, track your refunds, and much more. Iris Belize, Integrated Revenue Information System, coming soon.
So I'm gonna wonder if by chance I could get your number. Digit, nice.
Of course, you have digital, right?
Yeah, of course.
The truth is, your credit lasts way longer with Digi. Like if you top up with like $30, that could last you 90 days. With the other guys, that must save 60. Then with the other guys, you have to use all of your good prime credit before you even touch your bonus credit. But with Digi, you could use your bonus credit before you even touch your prime credit. Like, what are the point to have free credit if you can't use it how you want? So, what are your number?
Just give me one moment.
The truth is, only Digi offers nationwide LTE coverage, fastest mobile data speeds, and the best call quality.
Social anthropologist Dr. Herbert Gale has done extensive research on the issue of crime and violence across the region. Based on his research, Dr. Gale has also made recommendations about how this country's leaders should tackle the issue. In light of the recent spike in gang violence in Belize, Dr. Gale made an appearance on Open Your Eyes. One point he made is that temporary clampdowns are not the solution to the issue of gang violence.
Each country that endures state of emergency, you have enough people who believe in it. They are not educated to the damage it does over the medium and long term. So imagine that somebody has cancer and they get some morphine. That's why it's called morphinization. They get some morphine and they feel so good that they put up their hand and say, "Nurse, can I get some more morphine?" But we're still waiting for the surgery. We're still waiting for the surgery. But the morphine feels so good that you become an addict. And Caribbean people, and let me just name the countries: Jamaica, Trinidad, Belize, 3 most violent countries in the region. All 3 countries are at this stage addicted to morphine. They are addicted to state of emergency. You see, the people who don't get restricted as much, they call for states of emergency. Yeah. So we divide ourselves into inner city and outer city. And the outer city people want the state of emergency because they're not the ones restricted immediately. And then a part of the inner city people want it because the last time it felt good. But at the end of the day, your children still don't have more food. They still don't have a great opportunity to go to school. Their parenting structures are shattered because the parents are all over the place trying to get a shilling. Yes? And the mess is still there. So if you arrest somebody, if you arrest 100 young men, 100 young men will not stay in prison for the rest of their lives. 99 are going to return to the streets. When they return, they should be within a system such as Cure Violence, something that has somebody who's a mentor assigned to them to get them employed and get them into school or occupied in some way. That's called redeployment. Then their little brothers and their sisters and their mothers who depend on them for food, illegal food. Let's go again. There's mama, the #1 dependent on food from a criminal. Yes, man, I said it this morning. Then there's sister and little brother. Those 3 are waiting on David. Let's call him David for food. If you don't have the redeployment of combatants, you haven't solved anything. Because as soon as you bat your eyes and as soon as the soldiers and police get tired, they are going to catch and kill.
In keeping with Dr. Gale's thoughts, educator and researcher Nelma Jones, who was also a guest on OYE, stressed the importance of getting the perspective of these young men in our efforts to finding solutions.
I know a lot of people were upset when some members of the street took to the media and started expressing themselves. There was so much to have been learned from those group of men. These people know what their problems are and they know what the solution should be, but we are not tapping into them enough. A lot of us think that we know and we plan for them rather than get them involved in the planning so that they can help to solve their own problems. And I spoke to one of them on Saturday. He came to me because he's saying, we don't want to hear from so and so and so, because they come, they tell us they will help, and then they disappear out of the blue. And he said, our young people, we want something. We want to know that we belong. We want to know that somebody cares about us. But a lot of time people come, start something with us, and then they leave. And I believe it's the same thing with the gang truce. Setting up a gang truce is not just being verbal about something. There has to be some kind of written agreement and position that both sides take, and what will happen if these truths are broken. What is the state position? What is the street group position? Those are some of the things that needs to be discussed. And I want to say, those of us who work with these groups and with communities, it is more than what we think we know. We need training to work with vulnerable communities. From the onset, when we are trying to build consensual power, that is where we are going wrong. Dr. Gale said it earlier. We take a suppressive approach. Everything is suppression. Everything is enforcing through the police, and that the police is supposed to have all the answers. We have said this before. Recently, when people keep asking, how can we, let's talk about the gang situation. Let's talk about, we have said all these things already, but it's okay. It is for the common good, and I'm glad that you are entertaining the conversation again. But the approach that has been taken.
On Wednesday, the Ministry of Health and Wellness announced that it supports the use of SD biosensor rapid tests to test for COVID-19 in Belize. But what prompted the release? Well, the ministry says misinformation about the test's accuracy currently being circulated is undermining efforts to fight the virus. News 5's Paul Lopez decided to look into the history of the rapid test in Belize and found that at the onset of the pandemic, there were similar questions about the sensitivity of rapid tests. Those died down as it became an integral part of the nation's fight against COVID. With the third wave, however, those issues have re-emerged among certain factions. Here is his report.
In June of 2020, there were concerns about the sensitivity of rapid tests when we learned that some persons who tested negative for COVID-19 abroad using a rapid test prior to entering Belize tested positive for the virus when swabbed at the PGIA with a PCR test.
Patient number 21 and the two other nationals that arrived, we do what test that they did. It does say on the note that we got from them that those have not been cleared by the FDA, but nonetheless, that's what they are doing in the Houston area. One out of those is a false negative. That's one out of three, at least.
The issue of sensitivity and sensibility was a primary concern within the Ministry of Health at the time. While there was discussion about introducing the rapid test in Belize, validations first had to take place.
Understand that when you have an epidemic, let's say you go and start doing rapid testing in the people in San Pedro, the positives that come up, that is not a problem. You consider that as a positive case. The problem will happen though when you have a negative result, because then you can have what's called a false negative. So the patient may be told that they are negative, but in point of fact they are positive. So that's what you want to be able to safeguard.
And then in late August, the FDA gave clearance for the Abbott rapid test, which is reportedly 97.1% accurate.
Abbott has said that it will be shipping the tests in the tens of millions next month, right here, September, starting next week.
The Ministry of Health eventually launched rapid testing in August Pine Ridge using the SD biosensor rapid test. The 15 minutes turnaround time was a game changer.
So we identified 6 persons positive, and it was really a great benefit because right away the person was called, and of course we made the validation with the PCR test.
As the number of COVID cases spiraled out of control in 2020, the Ministry of Health's demand for rapid testing increased. With the change of administration came the rollout of rapid testing countrywide.
The plan moving forward includes the immediate implementation and scale-up of the use of rapid tests in all district hospitals with clear testing protocols. All regional and community hospitals are now conducting rapid tests. We shall be expanding test sites throughout the country.
By May of 2021, the number of COVID cases rapidly decreased, in part due to the increased availability of testing. Now, in the midst of a third wave of infections, sensitivity concerns have resurfaced. Concerns about false positives prompted this week's response from the ministry. The release asserts that the SD biosensor test returns accurate positives 88% of the time.
There will always be comments about the quality of the different tests, but that is what we have right now to offer the community, so that is better than nothing. So I think we must make much of the opportunity, because we have been picking up positive cases. I don't say today, but that is what the Ministry of Health use, and that is what is helping us to identify the cases.
Is it possible that the SD biosensor antigen test can pick up a false positive result?
Every test is not that, 100%. You always have some level of false positive or false negative, which we call sensitivity and sensibility of the test.
Yes, there may be false negative, there may be false positive, but I think the brand that we're using right now, because we use it at the hospital, has proven to be very effective. And so, yes, it is a very good test to be using.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
After the break, a young activist gets the help he needs to represent Belize at COP26. But first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Have you ever wondered how to tell if someone is marriage material? Do you ever wish there was more to your marriage? Maybe you've asked yourself, how do I raise my kids the way God wants me to? Join us for our new series, Mixtape. We'll play through how God wants us to love the people in our lives one track at a time. Get ready to crank up the volume and tune in for advice God gives us in the areas that matter most.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority. fingerprint recognition coming soon. Social Security at your fingertips.
Continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases.
Our forest, our future. It's the basis of the work of REDD+ in Belize. REDD+ aims to reduce emissions from deforestation and forest degradation while fostering conservation, sustainable management of forests, and enhancing of forest carbon stocks. It was established under the National Climate Change Office, which, with support from the World Bank. Data currently shows that 59% of Belize is forest, with over 104 protected reserves. CEO Dr. Kenrick Williams of the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management opened a REDD+ session today, saying that Belize has been a global leader in conservation.
Today we learn about a project that can really be impacting to the long-term sustainable development of Belize. And when we talk about impact, we talk about impact in the most true sense: social, economic, environmental, as well as institutional. The work to get REDD+ in Belize, of course, It was an idea birthed by the Forest Department, which really culminated in the signing of a grant agreement with the World Bank. The idea here was to ensure that our country fully benefits from our work and our sacrifice in conservation, because we have been doing this thing long before it was hot, long before it was the thing to do, right? Long before it was this global discussion, we have been making sacrifices as a country. We, as a country, has been, I think, a global leader in conservation. As a leader, we want to be part of the discussion. We must be part of the discussion. The sacrifices that we make, we must get benefits because our people sacrifice. There are opportunity costs to not extracting our offshore oil reserves, for instance, not looking at some destructive practices. There's an opportunity cost borne by our people. And so as a country, we must be out there, we must be having that discussion to look at those benefits.
But the closure of the first phase means the beginning of the country's strategic plan to becoming a climate change resilient nation. And the result of the years of work has helped with the establishment of Belize's new nationally determined contributions. There is still more to be done as the country transitions into the implementation stage. By the end of this year, the strategic plan, along with the benefits, sharing mechanisms, and a land tenure assessment, will be complete.
Ensuring that our forests are kept standing is one of the key measures that have been identified for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Despite these benefits, forests all over the world are disappearing at alarming rates, mainly for agriculture, forest logging operations, and urban development. In Belize, for example, data indicate that the main threats to our forests include agriculture expansion, housing, fire, pests, and tourism development. Additionally, climate change is expected to alter the frequency and intensity of forest disturbances such as insect outbreaks, invasive species, wildfires, and storms. Given the current fiscal situation in Belize, I see REDD+ as being key to providing sustained environmental and socio-economic benefits. These benefits include the provision of non-timber forest products, genetic resources, recreational and hydrological benefits, erosion prevention, pollination services, and climate regulation, which can value from US $626 to US $3,122,000 per year per hectare of forest. Additionally, the mechanism will facilitate the growth of sectors that are less dependent on forestry for inputs.
Kaifer Mess is heading to COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland. You remember Kaifer? Last month, we aired a story about this 17-year-old environmental activist from southern Belize who needed help to get to the 16th United Nations Climate Change Conservation Conference, that is, of youths at the end of October. Well, his story caught the attention of the people who could assist. During today's closing ceremony for the first phase of the REDD+ Belize project, a check for over $3,000 was handed over to him by the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management.
We saw this story and we were very encouraged by the work of young people and what he represents, to engage in the discussion, to share the voice of Belize on the international stage. We think that takes a lot. And so we wanted to support that as a ministry.
I will represent Belize well, and I hope I can be able to experience, be this first time experience. As you know, it will be my first time going outside the country, and by doing this, I'll be able to represent Belize. And I would like to thank everyone as well in here for being here to support me as well. And I know I got you guys right here on my back, so I will be right here trying to represent Belize as well as I can.
I believe that young Mr. Mess is a shining example of what we really need for our youth in Belize. And I hope that for our viewers, our Belizean young people can take this message and also get involved. I can recall a few months ago I was invited to talk with one of our leading universities, the University of Belize, to speak on the issue of climate change, and I had asked if there were any groups of young people who were advocates for nature, for climate change, and the response was that there wasn't anything organized. So I hope that this would be a shining example, as Mr. Mess is, to take that message home and so that we can get more young people involved.
Jamal Gaves, popularly known in Belize as Manatee Man, is the recipient of the 2021 WCS Christensen Conservation Leadership Scholarship. Gaves, whose career as a conservationist began when he was only 11 years old, is pursuing a master's degree in coastal science and policy at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Nicole Gomez nominated him because of his labor of love to safeguard Belize's manatees. Gaves is the second of 2 Belizean scholarship recipients for this globally competitive opportunity. Denise Garcia received a WCS scholarship in 2016. The program builds leadership capacity for wildlife conservation on a global scale by providing support to young conservation professionals to obtain master's degrees or PhDs at top-flight international academic institutions. Just ahead, the Garifuna Nation challenges a commercial development in St. Bight. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
This weather update is brought to you by SMART. This weather update was brought to you by SMART.
It's the source of all life, one of the most important parts of our daily lives, and it comes from here. Billions of droplets of water collect here, far west Sinicayo district, deep in the mountains. This is the headwaters of Belize. According to Executive Director of Friends for Conservation and Development FCD, Rafael Manzanero, 45 to 50% of the Belizean population depend on the waters from these mountains.
And it starts here with this kind of shrubs around. The plants, all of that is basically more like a sponge. Where we are standing, this is where the kind of the droplets, water starts to go down. Joins the bigger streams and then the river. So this is really where it all begins.
4 subwatersheds originate from this large area. The water runs downhill and into streams and creeks, which eventually run into important bodies of water like the Siboom and Makal rivers and into your homes. In the far background, the Chickabul Forest, a dense tropical forest spanning 423,000 acres. And what you're seeing is a crucial ecological process, the water cycle, specifically evaporation and soon after precipitation.
This is really the magic of these areas. You will see clouds always forming. You will see the low elevation clouds around the zone. So it hits, then the water starts to drop. It goes up back again, and so that is really the natural cycle occurring. More water, more droplets.
That important ecological cycle is being disrupted by deforestation inside the Chickabul Forest.
So whenever you have massive deforestation, then certainly the ecological process is already being disturbed. So in other words, fragmentation is no longer there, the area is eroded, the water and trees are basically synonymous and parallel to the development of such a process. So if you don't have that, if you don't have a forest, then certainly also the evaporation is not occurring. And so that cycle is already being broken.
Closer to the western border, thousands of trees ripped from the earth. Large patches of land inside the Chickabul have been cleared by fire for illegal cattle ranching, plantations, and squatting. The effects have been several. The impact has been significant.
Locally, when it comes to forest area, these areas are also buffer zones for protections within watershed areas when it comes to biodiversity, when it comes to meaning wildlife protection, when it comes to erosion. All these things that climate change would impact at the local scale. Forests serve as a buffer.
The water that rushes through the Chicabo runs through a massive system of pipes across the country and into your homes. According to Belize Water Services Limited, BWSL, it serves over 62,000 connections, or approximately 270,000 consumers, with a total average water demand of approximately 230 million gallons per month. BWSL says over 60% of the water supplied is produced using conventional water treatment process, with rivers as extraction sources. This is why the Chicabo forest should be protected, restored, and funded. But deforestation isn't unique to the Chicabo. It's happening all over the country. Over the past 18 years, the average removal of forests per year is approximately 22,000 acres. This continues to contribute to effects of climate change, but Belize has a plan.
I think that if we're able to adapt, right, then it's okay, we might lose the battle, but we might win the war. I think Belize, we're in a key position to actually winning the war by improving our level of coordination, collaboration at this point. It helps to have that insight from the various sectors, from the various stakeholders, to know what they're doing in order to, like I said, get over the hump and actually win the war.
Reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation in developing countries, REDD+ in Belize is in its first phase of its mission to reduce carbon emission from deforestation and forest degradation.
What this means is that we are helping Belize to assess their status, what we have, what we need in terms to sell carbon credits on the international market. And so this means that we're just getting those information. So we have been analyzing those information. We have been collecting them with our technicians, with Forest Department, going out into the fields.
From phase 1, the REDD+ experts will move on to phase 2, the implementation of strategies to protect forest goods such as medicine, food, precious wood, and services like water and jobs.
REDD+ is also about carrying out activities to assist the country in building back what was lost. So if we have to do for reforestation, with the Forest Department, we sit down. They have identified key priority areas that they are vulnerable. The negative impacts that we've seen due to these areas being depleted are basically the water security. Part of REDD+, we have been going out into communities doing outreach. Today we are hearing these communities approaching us, asking us if we can assist them in replenishing, because they're not seeing their waters anymore. Their creeks are drying up, and they have realized that they need the trees in order for that cycle to continue, for water to be restored into their environment.
Protecting the forest is protecting our water's resource. Reducing carbon emissions is saving planet Earth.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
Representatives of two groups, the Garifuna Nation and the National Garifuna Council, have band together in their call for the government of Belize to have developers of a gas station in St. Bite immediately cease and desist operations. It's a needed service since villagers travel outside for gas, But developers are facing opposition because the site identified is considered Garifuna sacred land. Cynthia Ellis-Topsy of Garifuna Nation and Laverne Arzu of the National Garifuna Council told us that they feel disrespected because a commitment to halt the project for a period of 1 month has been ignored.
Way before a gas station was being proposed to be built close to the sacred lands and sacred site of the Garifuna people in St. Bite. This would not have been possible if there was respect for the Garifuna people as indigenous people who just have the same kind of rights as other indigenous people such as the Maya. And the developer, along with the village council and other members of the government, decided to have a gas station built where Garifuna sacred lands exist, where Garifuna sacred temple exists, where there is no fire hydrant, where there is little access to fire engine or fire services.
The Minister of Indigenous and the area rep, they told everybody there that they are going to put this project on a halt for 1 month, and it never did even happen, right? Because they put the halt the 9th of September, and they continued to work till the Saturday morning. Then from there, the area rep come back and he come to solicit some names, and he never did walk around for like the whole day. He only walked around like 2 or 3 hours because he get chased from several houses in St. Bite due to where they don't want that gas station there. But anyway, after he went from there, he come up on air and wanted to say that he got 225 names, but he never did get that 225 name because the short amount of time that he was in St. Bite.
Minister Rodwell Ferguson reportedly conducted a survey indicating that some 268 residents supported the development, while 50 voted against. But Ellis-Topsy and Arzu says they too have obtained hundreds of signatures of people opposed. We will continue to follow this story. The Office of the Prime Minister has written to the Leader of the Opposition, Patrick Faber, seeking his views on the recommendations for Supreme Court justices. These are being made to the Governor General by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. Among the names being forwarded for appointment are Ricardo Sancroft and Susan Lam for the Criminal Division, and Patricia Farnese and Genevieve Chabot for the Civil. Although the start date for the 3 of the appointees would have been September 20th, the letter from the Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie is dated September 29th. The letter states that before agreeing to the appointments, the Prime Minister is following Section 97(2) of the Constitution, Chapter 4 of the Laws of Belize, revised in 2011, which stipulates the PM concurs after consultation with the Leader of the Opposition. The Minister of National Defense and Border Security, Florencio Marin Jr., was invited by Admiral Jose Rafael Ojeda, Secretary of the Navy of Mexico, to attend the 200th anniversary of the Mexican Navy in Veracruz. During the October 4th event, Minister Marin met with the heads of Mexico's 4 primary security agencies. He was also a guest of President Andrés Manuel López Obrador of Mexico at the anniversary parade. According to the government press office, the visit sets the stage for a more intensive future bilateral to discuss issues of mutual concern and areas of collaboration. Accompanying Minister Marin were his CEO, retired Brigadier General Dario Tapia, and Ambassador Oliver Del Cid, and the Inspector General of the Ministry of National Defense and Border Security. There will be more news after the break, so stay with us.
Welcome to Samsung's awesome experience right here in Belize. Come check it out. Not sure which Samsung Galaxy A series is right for you? Touch, play, and learn about your device before you buy. Once you've purchased your device, you can now benefit from the full Samsung service experience. Your phone is covered by a 1-year local warranty. This includes manufacturer defects and software and hardware issues caused by the manufacturer. Enjoy your phone with peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy is protected. And when your warranty expires, you can still bring it to our certified Samsung Repair Center. Our technicians will diagnose and repair your device with Samsung original parts and machinery. Enjoy the Samsung experience when you shop at any of our authorized partners countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Odette's Home Center, Debari, Quartz, Shopigas, Gadgets, and Cellular Plus. Join the Samsung experience in Belize today.
To decrease your risk of being bitten by infected mosquitoes, use proven personal protective methods too. Apply an effective mosquito repellent to exposed areas of skin according to manufacturer's instructions. Wear light-colored long pants and shirts while outdoors in the early morning and late afternoons. Further, protect vulnerable family members like pregnant women, children, the elderly, and persons who are unwell by using mosquito nets to sleep or rest, even during the day. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases.
How does the AstraZeneca vaccine work? The vaccine provides support to help your body develop immunity to the virus that causes COVID-19. The body is left with a supply of memory cells that will remember how to fight the virus. It takes a few weeks for the body to produce the antibodies after vaccination. How long does it take to build immunity after taking the first dose of the vaccine? There is protection 14 days after a person's first dose. However, that initial protection may decline over time, which is the reason why it is so important to get the second shot. How long after the first dose should one take the second dose? The second dose should be given between week 8 and week 12. Are there any deaths associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine? There have been no deaths associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. Vaccines save lives. They remain the safest, most effective, and cost-effective medical tool developed. Increased uptake of the vaccine is the best way to stop this pandemic, save lives, and return to normalcy.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite Vibe calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call international. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our new PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBS. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. Put that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
Discussions are being held at the municipal level to install a beach in Belize City, similar to one at the old Belize off the George Price Highway. If the project goes through, it would be open to visitors and locals alike and a source of revenue for the City Council. Deputy Mayor Alan Pollard shared details of his idea for the Memorial Beach project with News 5.
It's basically a beach that we're trying to make in front of the Memorial Park area that will comprise of a 5-acre swimming area along with beaches and of course rental spaces for businesses as well. Why that area is one, where we were looking at multiple different areas within city, and I think the overall plan at the end of this one is to have different pools set up in other areas as well, especially on Southside Belize City. It's directly behind the Memorial Park stage, if the large stage that we usually have for events. So between that is the stage, and we have that parking area. For us, we think it's feasible in that area because one, the infrastructure is already in, for example, parking for residents. So that is something that we don't have to try to reinvent anything that is already there. And the seawall. So we're trying our best not to affect the current condition of the seawall, but actually go beyond and do some significant dredging in terms of sand, bringing sand up to the height of the seawall. The concept that we have right now is a natural filtration process. So what would happen is, instead of using pumps and chlorine and all these things, we're actually using a 3-layer system which comprises of rock and then sand and then a geotextile and then sand again. So what this does, this naturally, the flow of the water into the area of the seawall, it naturally filtrates the water as it goes into the pool area.
Pollard says he and the council are in discussion with the Belize Tourism Board, other potential investors, and a contractor from Mexico to bring the idea to reality by next year, if it can be done at a reasonable cost. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.